the answer to your question is yes. Yes, PDawg's on time today. And we're going to just take a look at today at one of the heroes of the Coronapocalypse. Although I just watched John Ward's video, and I don't know if I can add anything, but I'm going to try. Yes, we're going to talk about the heroes, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the world of my Corona, my Corona, and maybe a little bit into some other stuff, some things that have to do with justice and honor and truth, the American way, you know, all that great stuff. But anyway, before we do that, I'm going to play the intro, so I'll see you in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Night. And stop the music. Yes, it's Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. I have some crazy noise in my ear right now, and I know exactly where it's coming from. And it's coming from the old music bank because, you know, yesterday, since we did have to do, it was 420, and I thought yesterday, you know, normally it's Metal Monday, and reggae is absolutely appropriate on 420. So I thought maybe I would just turn the old the metal from Metal Monday and bring it over to today. So the noise that I was hearing that I paused is this. Oh my goodness, that is super loud. I got to figure out how to turn that down. There we go. We'll have Metal Monday on Tuesday. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known on the internet as PDawg Night. On the PDawg Night channel, I am so happy that you're here. Tons of people in the chat already. This is awesome. I just feel so bit verklempt because it's, you guys come every day and it's awesome. Just don't know what to do. Anyway, I do have my cup of reparations coffee in hand, and I'm ready to go because I got to talk about, yesterday, something glorious happened. In fact, it was so glorious that the angels were singing. Well, they were singing. They're not singing now. I don't know what happened, but they were singing. I'm sure you'll hear it in just a second. Fredo has emerged from the darkness. Yes, Fredo, Chris Cuomo, who has been stricken with the ever dangerous coronavirus, the Chinese virus, the Wuhan flu, the Wuhan pneumonia, I see, that's the enemy volume up. Thank you, this is Kyle. Real quick, $2 super chat right off the bing bang. Thank you. It says, hello, chat people and PDawg. Well, thank you. This is Kyle. Did my little Obama thing go? Oh, it was playing. I just had the volume down too low. Anyway, thank you, Kyle, very much. I appreciate it. Yes, Fredo Cuomo has removed himself from the darkness. He's left his wife's basement. Apparently, he's okay. But, you know, the story just has some problems, you know? So, before we get into Chris Cuomo's issues and anything else of the day, though, you know, I like to say good morning to everybody who's here, and I'm just going to start right from the top. Maniac Man got here first. You were here early, my brother, saying Fredo really needs to get his head checked with all the crap I've heard him say. Absolutely, but Maniac Man, you get the bell for being first. Thank you for being here. Good morning, all you need. Tyler F, Richo, Chicago Mike, Maddie on the News Chick channel right now. Let's see. I gotta scroll a little farther. Good morning, Gun Fox 61, Zero the Hero, DI Freighter, Duck Dog, Stabbing Joe Scarborough. Oh man. Don't kill anybody today, Joe. Good morning to Jay Wolf, Green Badger Outdoors, Sean, Rolling Bear, Ophelia the Happy. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. Ophelia the Happy Red Panda, the Attack Alpaca. Oh wow, I'm Cynical Lindsay, Fox and Barrett Show. That's a new one. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. And hey, let's get it started. Now, if you get here, if you're here a little bit later, I'll try to catch up on all the names, but it just keeps getting bigger and better every day. It's hard to keep up, and that's a good thing. I really appreciate y'all just jumping up in the chat, or if you're lurking in the background because you're driving or you're at work, that's cool too. I'm just glad you're here. This is great. Make sure you hit the like button if you like what we do. Share the stream out right now. Hit that share arrow. Do the Facebook and Tumblr and Reddit and all those things. Let me tell you all the choices it gives you. It gives you Facebook, Twitter, Blogger. And I don't know who's sharing this on Blogger, but if you can share it on Blogger, share it on Blogger. Good morning, Ryan Rawlings. I see you too. And then Reddit, Tumblr, Pinterest. You could share me on Pinterest. Oh my God. I didn't know. My wife, oh my God. Sometimes I wish my wife would I wish they'd take Pinterest away. Okay, Pinterest is the devil's food, okay? But anyway, and then something called I don't know if it's pronounced that way, but that's what it looks like to me. You can share this on LinkedIn. You can share it on, there's another one. There's two Russian ones on here, or at least it looks like the language is Russian. I don't know what those are, but if you're into that, go ahead. And then, or you can email it to your mom. Your mom would like me. I'm just one of those guys. Everyone's moms like me. When I was a kid and in high school, everyone's parents loved Marty. I wasn't sure why. I think they thought that I was a good influence on their kids. Little did they know. But hey, email this to your mom. Or better yet, you can just here's the simple way. You can follow me on Twitter, Minds and Gab, right down there at PDawg Night. It says, see it down there? Right there. Twitter, Minds, Gab, at PDawg Night. You can follow me and that will help. You can just retweet what I tweet or what my friends tweet, because a lot of people also retweet the show out for me. So thank you, everybody who's here. In fact, I'm guessing, let's see, what's the first one? Maddie's got it out there. Jay Wolf's got it out there. Thank you. And I know Becca Farley always tweets the show out. And so those people are all so helpful. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Hello, Advocatus Diabli, a.k.a. the Devil's Advocate. All right, so let's talk about Fredo. Yes, the great... Oh, damn, D.I. I'm not going to read that, but damn, that's... Okay, so there's some issue there that I'm not completely familiar with, and I'm going to leave it. I would just leave it. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's get into the show, shall we? On Metal, a substitute for Metal Monday, it is Metal Tuesday. So if you hear that, if you can hear that in the background, every once in a while, we just got to throw out a little metal. So anyway, all right, let's talk about Chris Cuomo. I know. So back on March 31st, okay, I don't know. I've been trying to understand what's going on with Chris Cuomo. I don't know if he just felt like... all right, let me just keep it simple. On March 31st, Chris Cuomo announced to the world via CNN that he's been diagnosed with coronavirus, but he was going to keep working from home. So he decided he's going to hang out in his wife's basement. I always call it his wife's basement. So I don't know who started doing that. I think Mark Dice says that all the time. Chris Cuomo's hanging out in his wife's basement because he was cutting himself off from his family and from the world, but he was going to broadcast from home, right? And so we got this first article from Brian Stelter, who wrote this first. CNN anchor Chris Cuomo said Tuesday that he has been diagnosed with COVID-19. He is feeling well and will continue to anchor his 9 o'clock program, Cuomo Prime Time, from his homes. And his message was, in these difficult times that seem to get more difficult and complicated by the day, I just found out I am positive for coronavirus, Cuomo wrote in a message on Twitter. I have been exposed to people in recent days who have subsequently tested positive, and I had fevers, chills, and shortness of breath, he wrote. I just hope I didn't give it to the kids and Christina. That would make me feel worse than this illness. Good morning, Keenan. So he's on there, and here's a little clip from CNN with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Now, I want you to notice something that's missing in this clip. Oh, hopefully it's not a commercial first. Let's see if this... Will this work without a commercial? Well, right now, it's nothing. It's on play. Oh, it's a commercial. All right, let's just... We'll mute the commercial. Mute the commercial. So anyway, if you've been following along, and we've maybe seen a couple clips from different shows since March 31st. Now, this is March 31st. Today is April 21st. So this is a month and 10 days ago. Or no, or not a month and 10. I'm sorry, 20 days ago. 22 days ago. All right. Now, here is Chris Cuomo with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
That I didn't realize until basically today. I've never had anything where you cannot control the suck.
Let me pause this a second, because I want to hear this whole thing, and I need you to notice something. I need you to notice something as he's talking to Sanjay Gupta. How long is this? 3 minutes. We're gonna watch this whole thing because I want to notice something. Now have you been watching my show? Well, no, I'm not gonna start. I'm gonna let you see this first.
That I didn't realize until basically today. I've never had anything where you cannot control the suck.
Oh,
even when I've had like the flu,
you can't control the suck.
Vaccine, it kind of mutes it. You catch it early with the Tamiflu.
No.
They give you some of those antivirals. They can work, and it is scary, Sanjay, to have people say to you
scary.
Two things. One, the real answer is suck it up.
Suck it up.
Stay home. Stay away from your family.
Hydrate.
Yes. Take Tylenol if you need it. That's all we got until you're an extremist. That's scary. And then the second scary thing is...
What is it?
Then everybody gives you a million things to take. Anti-malarials, Z-Pack, the hydrochloroquine, which the president made very popular with people. All right? Everybody's saying that it works so well.
Really?
And there are all these other drugs that you can take.
Did you try it, Chris?
Lungs. Do we know anything even close to definitively where you would feel comfortable telling your friend, Chris, let's go with it. Your cough is getting worse. I think it's worth the risk.
Wait, his what? Wait, whoa. He said something then that I'm missing here. Hang on. Let me go back just a little bit, because I think you need to hear what he just said here.
Definitively, where you would feel comfortable telling your friend, Chris, let's go with it. Your cough is getting worse.
Oh, wait, his what? Did he say his cough? I'm going to keep playing this. Hang on. He said his cough is getting worse. His cough. All right, I want you to remember that word.
I think it's worth the risk of taking this. Do we have anything like that right now?
Oh.
Well, can I just say on the first point, Chris, I'm sorry you're going through this. Really.
Oh, I'm sorry you're going through this too, Chris.
I really feel for you. It's not good. It's a serious thing, and you're a tough guy, but I know
it's sad.
It really makes people feel miserable. So I'm sorry you're going through this. There
look how strong Chris is right now.
Right now, and look, people will say, hey, look, I mean, if it's not proven, but maybe it works in a situation like this, should we do it anyway?
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know.
One of the example you gave, hydrochloroquine and the Z-Pack.
Yes, this is all the time around when this is the time when the president was talking about, hydrochloroquine and zinc and whatever, and he was mentioning it because there's been some things, and then he also mentioned that other one that we talked about the other day. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, by the way, good morning to the gayest person on YouTube. Chris is the type of person that tells you he started doing CrossFit every time you see him. Yeah, he mentions that a lot too. He likes to tape his workouts and put them on Twitter. But anyway, let's continue here, because there's clearly something missing here that I.
The president's talked about it. A lot of doctors have talked about it.
Oh,
I should point out a
yes.
couple things. One is that we don't have the evidence that it works. Evidence is important here for a couple reasons. First of all, the studies that they did, there were people who weren't counted in the study. They started the study, they weren't counted in the final conclusions. But some of those people got quite sick despite taking the medications. And when you do the math on this very small study of some 20 people, it didn't necessarily show benefit. You've got to trial this out in larger populations. The French doctor who actually was the author of that study came out today and said, look, I want to be clear. I never wanted to recommend that people just start medicating themselves with this.
And you know what? And what's funny is that how would they? How would they just start medicating themselves with it? Except in maybe West Africa where you can buy it over the counter in some places. Because they're very experienced with it and they know how it treats malaria, but that's a little bit different treatment. It's a smaller dose, over longer stretches of time, and not often. Okay, but yes, no, I'm just curious. How are people just? Well, of course, the fish food people, the fish tank cleaner people. I think this was right after that too, but I don't think anyone ever said, "Oh, you know what? There is some of that substance in this particular fish tank cleaner, and go self-medicate with that shit." No, I don't think so. Anyway, let's go. Hello, Dead Kaiser, by the way. All right, here we go.
If you do, you should get an EKG ahead of time. You should monitor your potassium ahead of time.
Yes.
There could be some significant
I
side
imagine
effects.
some doctors would do that, right?
Do to anybody, Chris, yourself included, is cause some sort of harm.
Now,
that's why you do trials. I wish it worked. I wish we could say it worked and we knew it for sure.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Thank you, C. Thomas, for the super chat. $2 penis in your face. By the way, hi, C. Thomas. The super chat says penis in your face. Also, Fredo is so full of shit that he resembles my GI tract. Well, C. Thomas, I'm not going to make a comparison because I'm not interested in seeing your GI tract because there's only one way to get there, and I'm not into buttholes. But thank you so much, sir, for the $2 super chat. If you want to participate in the super chat, the link shows up in the stream every once in a while. Thank you, sir, very much. I appreciate it. Let's continue.
I would say my pal Chris could take this, and he could, it could help him reduce the severity and the duration of this.
Now look at how strong Chris is. Think about this.
That's one of the most common.
Hello, Renee. I see you in the chat. I'm not gonna Matt. Something like that. Okay, you're gonna laugh at me. I know it because you always do.
In Ebola.
Look how strong Chris is. Chris is stricken, and all this time that Sanjay Gupta is talking, and Chris.
Those are probably the most prominent.
Doesn't even resemble as though he's going to cough, but his cough is getting worse. His fever is awful.
These are the drugs that are going to work. And you know what, Chris? 2 weeks ago,
interesting.
Final study came out and said they didn't work.
Interesting.
That's why you do these studies. There's going to be something.
And do you see
we just
Chris
don't know what it is
breathing
yet.
tough, difficult, having difficult breathing? Did you now? What was missing from that 3.5 minutes? A cough. Now, here's what's fascinating. Oh, I don't need that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Okay, I can just close this window. So Chris got through that entire. Now, he didn't talk that much. Now, I don't know how you are, but you've watched me on this show, particularly those of you who've been around a while, and you know that I had a bit of a cold that was lingering for a while, right? And it was just cold or something that I had in I think it must have been in February, right? And through the entire month of February and deep into March, I could barely make it through 5 minutes of the show without coughing. And that was not coronavirus. That was just some lingering cold that the back end of it made me cough. And you're trying to talk. And when you talk, you cough, right? And I had that problem. And I'm thinking, Cuomo sat through that entire segment without coughing. And I've been watching Cuomo segments periodically since March 31st to today. And I've yet to see him cough. Now, here's one where he's talking to his brother. Now, this is in the middle. Okay, by the way. Oh, this is... okay, that's not the one I want up here. Where's the... Okay, that's the one where he walks back the comments. Anyway, this is when he had an interview, or he's talking with his brother. And right in the middle of literally in the middle of Andrew Cuomo doing his address, he gets on the whatever, the internets with his brother Chris. So is this gonna show this or not?
Every financial
okay, so here's he and his brother. Okay, let's get rid of the ad for a second. Chris Cuomo and his brother in the middle of Andrew Cuomo's press conference decides to have a conversation.
My little brother, I only have one brother, Christopher, tested positive for coronavirus.
Okay.
A lot of people are concerned about him, obviously, people in my family, but even beyond that. New Yorkers are very compassionate, and many people ask me about Chris and how's he doing, not just for himself, but we keep talking about this coronavirus.
In the middle of a press conference.
I'm anxious about it.
Oh, is this
What
just
does
where
it
he's talking to
actually
him?
mean?
Okay, hang on.
Your brother has it. How's he doing? So a lot of people ask me that question.
Yes.
I talk to him quite frequently, and he is doing okay. And I checked in with him this morning and asked him how he was feeling, and he was up and spry.
I don't know why.
Much his normal
Hang on
self.
a second. Now I see Maddie. I see you just did a super chat, and I can't. It's not showing up here. Maybe it'll show up in a minute. Anyway, let's go ahead. If it doesn't show up, I'll read it in a minute here.
To join us for a couple of minutes if he was up.
Oh, here he is. Yeah, he's in the middle of a press conference. In the middle of a press conference. Now listen to what they talk about. This is fascinating. Now this is 15 minutes long. So all right, look, this is a 14-minute video, and you see right here. Now this is weird. Why did that not show up? Manny, I see it in the chat. I just don't see it in the. I don't see it on the. Well, it'll show up on the screen eventually. For 15 minutes during a press conference to the state of New York, he stops and talks to his brother. We'll just do a little bit of this.
I think he said.
Notice Chris isn't coughing.
Was in a position to join us, and I asked him to join us by video.
Oh, you asked him to join you. Okay. Good morning, Cindy.
There he is, with his hat. Cuomo Prime Time. Say hello to Kid.
Oh yes, let's promote the show to New Yorkers because.
You're looking.
Let's get after it.
Let's get after it. Yes. Now it's weird. Now you notice something. Is he in his basement? I can't tell.
Many people are asking about you. I tell you the truth. Everyone I talk to is asking about you and how you're doing.
Yes,
and how
they
you're
are
handling
all
it
asking
and
about
how you
Chris.
feel. Kara's here, by the way. She's working with me now. She's working on supplies. So she says,
all right, let me pause this for a
feeling?
second because I want to thank Maddie. I don't know why it's not showing up. So I'm going to go, hang on a second here. I don't want to not thank Maddie. Maddie has a $5 super chat she put in, but it's not showing up. So I'm going to check my dashboard and see if it shows up there. Just a second here, everybody. I apologize for the pause. Let's see. Let's go. No, that's not what I want. I want donation history. All right, so Maddie, for some reason it didn't show up on the screen, but I'm going to go ahead and read it here. As someone with chronic bronchitis, when it's flaring up, you can't talk for the hacking you were doing. Not only that, but you would also look like utter shit no matter how you dress or put on makeup. Yeah, if you have any of those conditions where you... By the way, thank you very much, Maddie. Not sure why it didn't show up on the screen here, but anyway, yeah, you now, but that's the reason I wanted to show this particular interview. He's on with his brother for a full 13 to 10, 11, 12 minutes, and still notice not a single cough.
I love Cara. You have great kids. There's no better way to measure what you've actually meant in the world and the kids you bring into it.
Yeah.
And the daughters are great, and I'm not surprised that they're helping. They make me proud of the family.
They make me proud too, Chris.
Better than the one that brought it into this world. I'm doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
All things considered, this is very tough. I get it now.
You get it.
I've now become part of this
Hello, Smarty Bear.
group of people who have this virus, and they're reaching out and friends and people who are new friends. They have this 5, 8, 10 days, constant virus, constant fever.
Not a single cough yet.
And, it's not doing great with my hair. I have to be honest. It's tough to keep hair the way I want it to.
You can still take a shower if you have a
You've been
virus,
cutting your
Chris.
own
You don't
hair,
have to not shower.
which some people are good at, some people are not.
This now, mind
I've
you,
chosen to wear a hat.
this
I don't wanna put your
is
money
in the
on there.
middle
But it's gonna be
of a
long
press
shot. Now that I
conference
know the fight that
to
I'm
the
in for,
people of New York.
I'm more comfortable.
This is,
And I learned that.
I am
see
just
why it takes
dumbfounded.
people out. You gotta
This is on
rest.
April 14th,
Because
right?
your body
April
has the
14th.
fever because it's fighting the virus. And you've got to chill. I'm very lucky. I
Now,
have a wife
also
who
remember,
loves me, who's keeping me
During this
fed.
time, Chris says
I got
he's
a nice
staying in
place
the
to
basement
be.
because he doesn't want his
So,
family to get
very
it.
smart, Andrew.
And Andrew Cuomo
how they can reach out and help
has kind of
people
had this
without
stay-at-home
contact.
order,
A lot
so
of
to
people are
speak.
fighting
You
this
know,
alone.
stay
And
at
I can't
home.
imagine that.
Don't wander about.
Ultimately,
No unnecessary
together, and I
travel.
have everything done for me.
This is
Very
April
lucky.
14th.
There are a lot of
Okay,
people
just
who
a
are in a
couple
bad way,
days
and they reach
after
out to me,
Easter.
and I feel for them. So we're in a real fight, and we really do have to remember our connections to each other, because otherwise there'll be no way through.
You're on what? You're on day 2?
Real quick, thank you, Chicago Mike, by the way, for the $5 super chat. Working for CNN, he couldn't get a better microphone. Yeah, all these people, all the late night hosts and all the people who do this stuff from home, they apparently couldn't take any equipment home for a while. And it's funny because if there's a couple like who's a dude who used to be on Saturday Night Live who does the not Tonight Show, but I mean, some of these people, like, even when they do get a microphone and they set it up in their house, they forget to change the setting to that microphone. So they still, sound like they're talking into a potato webcam microphone from, 2007. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Get him some equipment so he doesn't sound like an echo chamber. Anyway.
Yeah, I really believe that it didn't start until I got the diagnosis. Maybe because.
But he got, hold it. Now, this is on April 14th or 13th or so. And he got not Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers. Seth Meyers, they finally got him a lavalier microphone and a setup, and he still didn't set the setting to that microphone. So he was still using the webcam microphone, and so he still sounded like he was, the first day on YouTube. My first day on YouTube. Well, my first day on YouTube didn't sound like that because I kind of prepared myself a little bit, and I was working. My first video, I had a decent microphone, but anyway, it's funny.
Or whatever, but that night I got hit with fever and those Rigors.
He likes talking about the Rigors, the intense fever where you're having visions. So anyway, I'm not going to play this whole thing, but this goes on for 12 minutes. Chris Cuomo doesn't cough once during the entire thing. Now, I am not saying explicitly that Chris Cuomo is completely full of shit and didn't have this, but I am implying it quite heavily. So anyway, this is from March 31st to April 14th. Okay. Now this is also the day he walks back the comment on from the radio show. Tuesday he walked back comments he made epiphanies he had during his battle with coronavirus. The CNN anchor had vented on his radio show the day before about no longer seeing the point of his primetime position and that he'd trade it for all the freedom to tell his critics to go to hell. But Cuomo clarified Tuesday that he's sticking with his job and is instead questioning if his work is making a difference. I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't think are valuable enough to me personally, Cuomo said Monday on his Sirius XM show. Like what? Well, I don't like what I do professionally. Now, the part that they don't have in this article, let's see if they have in this article. He's talking about, let's see. Cuomo said his recent bout of COVID-19 made him rethink his job as the host of CNN's top-rated Cuomo Primetime. Top-rated. Hold up there, pony. Hold up. Top-rated. Well, top-rated as far as a CNN show goes, because not a single CNN show makes it into the top 20 of any cable news program at all. On any channel. None. Zero. Nada. Zero. Anyway, so the CNN star rattled off a long list of grievances about his on-air gig. He says that he doesn't value indulging irrationally hyper-partisanship or trafficking in things that I think are ridiculous. He also said he doesn't want to spend time talking to either Democrats or Republicans or spouting things that they really don't mean. Now, here's the kicker of this particular diatribe, and I know some of you have heard of this before, but there's a point here I'm saying. Cuomo ended up in the headlines last year after confronting a man who called him Fredo, an insult against Italians. No, CBS News. It's not an insult against Italians. You lying...
You lying dog-faced pony.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice President. You lying pieces of shit. Fredo was a joke about him being the useless brother, and anybody can be a Fredo. Anybody can be a Fredo. Look, Brian Krasenstein and his uglier twin brother, who tweet under the name of one of their wives, the uglier twin brother is Fredo. Okay, Brian is Brian, and the uglier twin brother is Fredo. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're Italian. Anyway, he also recounted a story about a loser biker who heckled him on Easter for being outside his home with his family despite being diagnosed with coronavirus. There is the point. Mr. Fredo supposedly quarantined in his basement because he has the actual disease, known diagnosis. By the way, I'm not sure how he got diagnosed on March 31st because, I don't remember them having a lot of testing in New York on March 31st. But I digress again. Apparently, Mr. Quarantine not supposed to be moving about, and the reason that the governor made the order so more people don't get the virus from the country of origin that shall not be named.
China is asshole.
He's outside his house in another part of the Hamptons where he lives. Yeah, he lives pretty luxuriously. Checking out the house they're building. So some guy confront him saying, "Hey, aren't you Chris Cuomo? Don't you have COVID-19? Why are you out here endangering the public and your family?" Because he was with his wife and kids. I thought he was trying to make sure they don't get it, right? So, anyway, we know all about that. So he says he tries to walk back those comments. But, here it is. Nolte, CNN's Chris Cuomo reportedly violated coronavirus quarantine state travel orders. CNN's Chris Cuomo, coronavirus patient, alarmist, and brother of New York's Andrew Cuomo, reportedly left his home to exercise with his family on Easter while still sick. And he hasn't denied it. He still hasn't denied this. All right, so we know that story. There's a whole bunch of things here. Here's what we know for a fact. Cuomo has been sick with the coronavirus between March 31st and April 14th. When you are sick with the coronavirus, you can easily infect others. You are a danger to others. Cuomo told us he would quarantine in his basement, specifically to avoid infecting his wife and kids. Cuomo lives in New York, where his brother, Andrew, is the governor. New York, a state hit harder than any other so far, has a strict stay-at-home order that forbids unnecessary travel. On Monday, during his SiriusXM radio show, Cuomo complained of being harassed by a guy on a bike who pulled up in the driveway next to his on Easter Sunday and talked, quote, bullshit, end quote, to me. I kind of messed up the quote marks there. And then finally, Cuomo said that during the confrontation, he respected social distancing guidelines because Cuomo is still, even though he broke the law, he's still an angel. But it wasn't his home that he lives in, because Cuomo lives in Southampton, and the home that in question, where the fat, tired, bike-riding loser is in East Hampton. So not only did he leave the basement, not only did he join his family, wife and kids, he's trying not to get sick, not only did he leave the home, but he left and went to his home that's being built in another part of town, endangering health and lives of other people. So then, we already had the white walk back his comments. Then the biker himself shows up in the news because the biker attacked by coronavirus-stricken Chris Cuomo reports bully CNN host to the police, or reports bully CNN host to the police after the star's boiling rant. Well, he must have been boiling because he had a fever and a cough and we've never seen the cough. It also, even in that show, that his Sirius radio broadcast, never coughed once. The only time I've seen him cough during this whole time is there was one episode of Cuomo, what is it, Prime Time, whatever he does, where he had Sanjay Gupta on the show again. And, Sanjay Gupta's telling him how much of a warrior he is. And, boy, you're just fighting this out and you're doing all this so well. Well, on that show, Chris Cuomo said something about coughing. And he's like, like even when I cough, I have to into my sleeve. And that was the only cough you ever saw over the last couple weeks. So anyway, so this guy, a biker who was allegedly attacked by coronavirus-stricken Chris Cuomo, said he reported the CNN bully to the cops after his boiling tirade. So the cyclist, who is a Democrat, in fact, he voted for Andrew Cuomo. David, 65, has now hit back, telling the New York Post governor Cuomo's little bro was a bully, and that he has filed a complaint against the journalist, describing him as scary stupid. The shocked East Hampton resident had been out for a bike ride Easter Sunday when he spotted a cranky Cuomo Jr. on a local property he reportedly bought last year. He was accompanied by his wife, another woman, and 3 children who were playing around in the area. He endangered the lives of 2 women and 3 children just to go see some piece of land that was building a house on. What the fuck? David asked the woman, who looked like his wife, Christina Cuomo, why her COVID-19 positive husband wasn't self-isolating at home. This didn't go down well with Cuomo, who came within 40 feet of the cyclist. He said, "Who in the hell are you? I can't do what I want." David recalled he just ranted, screaming, "I'll find out who you are." Oh, and there's a nice picture of Cuomo being so safe in the basement. Look how they set up the little Lysol here, and he's got his coffee cup and his orange juice and some tissues. Oh, this is Instagram. Christina Cuomo. Here's what Christina Cuomo says on Instagram. Week 2 done of Chris Corona today. Today is day 18 of a very slow, skittish recovery. He successfully turned the corner away from his severe symptoms and potential danger of pneumonia, but still feels consistently lightheaded. Weak, fever on, fever off. So to build up his strength, I gave him more good food. Dr. Linda's herbs, homeopathy, and lots of vitamins necessary for this time. Non-toxic quinine to combat his oxygen-eating virus. He had a stress-free diet this past week that isn't taxing on the liver and doesn't consume energy, consisting of cooked foods like soups, lentil, chicken, legumes. Is it legumes? Legumes? It says a hard G, soft G. I've never been sure how to pronounce that. And vegetables. It takes a lot of energy to break down raw foods, especially when you're sick. Oh, Christina, you're such a... she's a saint because she puts up with Chris Cuomo. That's all I got to say. In fact, here, Christina Cuomo, you've earned that. Okay, so anyway, so he's self-isolated. The guy, he chewed out the dude out of the fat tire bike. You know those big fat tire mountain bikes that they have now. Anyway, so that's on the that's what day is that? Let's see. I think that's also the 15th that they wrote that. So then, and then there's another one, Chris Cuomo. Oh, this is just him revealing. Oh, he revealed a setback that same day. Chris Cuomo reveals setback in his fight against coronavirus. The CNN host admitted he got a little cocky in thinking his fight against the coronavirus was almost over until he experienced this symptom. Oh, what is... Let's find out what this symptom is. CNN host, let's see. On his show Tuesday night, Cuomo detailed how he tried to make it 72 hours without a fever after he stopped taking Tylenol, which is one of the milestones doctors want to see when deciding if a person can come out of isolation at home after testing positive for COVID-19. Wait a minute. So on Tuesday night, he tried to make it 72 hours without a fever. So apparently, just because he didn't have a fever 3 days earlier, he decided to go visit his other property in East Hampton, tagging along with his wife, his children, and some other woman. Maybe it was a realtor. I don't know. Who knows? So anyway, okay, whatever. Who cares? It's just more bullshit. And then, oh, lo and behold, the next day. Oh, the same day, Christina Cuomo, wife of CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, is diagnosed with coronavirus. So I guess he wasn't doing a very good job of staying away, was he? Apparently, the wife of CNN actor Chris Cuomo has been diagnosed with coronavirus 2 weeks after he announced he was infected. Christina now has COVID. She's now positive, and it just breaks my heart. The only thing I was hoping wouldn't happen, and now it has. He said on his show, Cuomo Prime Time, on Wednesday night. He later tweeted that his children are fine. Okay, the kids are still healthy, but this shook us. Oh, the kids are healthy, but this shook us at our literal core. It shook him to the core. All are stepping up. Can't wait to shake this fever so I can help her as she helps me. Sucks. Oh, God. So anyway, that made the New York Post also. That also made the Useless Today. And they made a big deal out of it. So anyway, so now, yesterday, some great news in the Cuomo household. I mean, some great news, some fantastic news. Hang on a moment. On Cuomo Prime Time, we get this yesterday on Twitter. Here is the very moment Chris Cuomo emerged from his basement where he's been writing out coronavirus for the last several weeks. What's the date today? What is the date today? April 21st. He's claimed he was diagnosed with coronavirus on March 31st. So, yes, that is roughly 3 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago. Yesterday, they tweet, on April 20th, here is the very moment Chris Cuomo emerged from his basement where he's been writing out coronavirus for several weeks. He is such a hero. And let's watch this. Chris Cuomo on his coronavirus recovery. Here it is. Mr. Chris Cuomo, this is the one that you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted this one. This is the one I wanted you to see. Here we go.
Re-entry from the basement.
Oh, and now wait a minute. Now we know for a fact. know for a fact that Chris Cuomo wasn't in his basement on April 12th. Chris Cuomo drove across that little stretch of the Hamptons where he lives from Southampton to East Hampton to check out the house they were building with his wife and his children in tow and some other woman, probably a realtor or whatever. And that's where he ran into Fat Tire Guy, right? But here he is, Chris Cuomo, triumphantly emerging from his basement after several weeks. You know, when I think several weeks, I don't think 3 weeks. Now, granted, several weeks could be 3 weeks. But when someone says several weeks, what is that? What do you think? When someone says several weeks, what do you usually think? The first thing that comes into my head when someone says several weeks, not a couple weeks or a few weeks, but several weeks, I think 6 to 8 weeks. At least 5 weeks. No, I don't think 3 weeks to the day. Several weeks in his basement. Oh my gosh, poor Chris Cuomo. Okay, here we go.
AC, a little sweaty.
Oh, just a little sweaty. And I want to know, because this isn't the only video. By the way, in the description down below, I put a video by John Ward. If you're not familiar with John Ward, you got to go follow John Ward. John Ward's funny as hell. He put out a video this morning about the saga of Chris Cuomo, which is far better than anything that I'm doing right here. And because now look at what Chris is doing here. Chris is walking out of his basement triumphantly. I got a question for you, Mr. I'm stricken with the COVID-19. Here's a question. Who's holding the camera right now? Who is filming him? Who? Looks like someone kind of short. Now, I don't know how tall his wife is. I think there's pictures of them when they're side by side. She's fairly tall. Does he have one of his kids holding the camera? Or is there a CNN person in their house while they're in a house full of germs and virus and, you know, probable death? Who's filming this? The triumphant return of the hero, the Corona hero, Chris Cuomo. By the way, hi Adam Richard. I just noticed your name there. Hello Jim Beam, Jonas Peterson, Kessler. Some names I hadn't said hi to yet. Good morning, my friends. Thank you for being here.
This is what I've been dreaming of.
This is what I've been dreaming of.
Wife, yeah.
Wait a minute. Why is she backing off from him? Okay, so it's not his wife holding it, because there's his wife. Does he have one of his kids? Did they bring a CNN cameraman into this virus-ridden hellhole of a house in Southampton? Okay, never mind. He lived in the Hamptons. Hello, Bosch Tube and Cracked also. How you doing? All right. This is his triumphant return from the basement.
She was cleared by the CDC. She doesn't have fever. She doesn't have the symptoms.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They just announced on the 15th that she had it too, and she's been cleared by the CDC? You mean the CDC came out for the Cuomo specifically when nobody else can get tested? Did he just say what I think he said?
Doesn't have fever. She doesn't have the symptoms anymore. More than 7
she doesn't have the symptoms. They just announced it 5 days ago. How did she recover so damn fast? Maybe she was taking hydroxychloroquine. I don't know. Anyway, let me continue.
We're still a little scared, so I'll just give you one of these.
Yeah, and there's one of his kids.
Just give you one.
There's the other kid. Where's the third kid?
Give you one of these.
Oh! So he has his kids filming him while he has COVID-19. Now, there was a segment. Well, you'll see it on John Ward's video. There's a segment where he's in the kitchen cooking. He's cooking sauce because he had a big thing about with his brother during that press conference about who makes sauce and whatnot. They're talking about sauce while Andrew Cuomo's trying to have a press conference, but I don't know. So one of his kids is doing the filming. Okay, he's putting all these people in danger. Wow, that one kid. Okay, I'm not going to talk about his kids. That's not
I was,
right.
of course, taking the video. This is the dream, just to be back up here.
Oh.
Thanks.
Let's bring in Dr. Sanjay.
Yes, let's talk to Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and let's find out how much of a warrior, how much of a hero, how much of an inspiration Chris Cuomo is. Oh, but he's still filming from his basement.
One of the things you may observe in that, and by the way, it's very important tonight, especially that Sanjay is in Atlanta. He lives there. So we'll get a little kind of cross-purpose about how he feels about what's about to happen in his own state.
Oh, yes,
but what
let's
you
do
may
that.
have noticed there, Sanjay, very quiet welcome to me when I walked up the stairs. Two reasons for that.
Well, because they've seen you several times already. You were just in East Hampton, driving around town, putting everybody else in danger. Whoever that woman that's not part of your family that was with you, do you think you kind of put her in danger? I don't know. I think you might have.
As the Onion captured, they really don't want me out of the basement. But secondly,
I can't blame them.
This has spooked the family. You know what I mean? We're spooked by this. Like
we're
families that you've
spooked
talked to
now.
all over the country. It really rocked us when Christina got a case, albeit much more mild than mine, and I think she's just stronger.
5 days ago, 6 days ago. It's amazing recovery, because I'm just saying. Is it worth one of those? I don't know. Let's see, Mr. Scott, hydroxychloroquine and a Z-Pack can reduce viral shedding down to 0 in 3 to 5 days if taken immediately after the signs of symptoms. Well, that's what I'm hearing too. That's kind of been the experience of a lot of people. And perhaps, I wonder if their doctor prescribed that for Christina, because she seems fine.
Than I am. But the missiles going down took a toll on us. It spooked the kids.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of a trauma and a recovery process that we're going to have to go through, as you see families all having.
What's hilarious, listen to him talk about the trauma and everything. Did you see the look on the two kids that were in the videos? Did you see their faces? It was kind of like did you notice any trauma in them at all? Or just did you kind of see them looking at their dad like, what the fuck? I don't know.
The recovery? I didn't know that this was like, having some kind of like baby trauma. And now I have a 3-week recovery process. I did the first part today. I could barely breathe doing a walk, 25 minutes. I felt like I was exhausted. I did some little bands that usually I wouldn't even warm up with.
I know, because you're such a warrior in the gym too, huh, Chris?
Pain, I felt strain. This really knocked people sideways in a way that it'll take weeks. But
okay, today, I can't do it. I'm sorry, gang. I cannot do it.
I'm a lucky guy.
No, I can't do it, I said. No more Chris Cuomo. I can't do it. I can't do it. Well, here's a great oh shoot, it went away. Well, here, let's just go down this Chris Cuomo thing on Twitter and see if anyone can concur with my personal opinion with this. Well, here, Andrew Cuomo in Buffalo, briefing on coronavirus. Okay, that's live right now. To the minute. John Cardia, who is what is John Cardia, Jude? He's a tough guy, NYPD. Okay, and he's podcast with Bernie Carrick, the former police commissioner of New York City. He says, this is the first time you've been out of the basement, or did you get into it with a loser on a fat tire bike 2 weeks ago in the Hamptons? That's what I said. Isn't that what I just said? Paula Reed says, today Chris Cuomo visits... Oh, no, that's Governor Cuomo. I want Chris Cuomo. Here we go. We have the real footage of Chris Cuomo emerging from his basement for the first time. There it is. Okay. Can't make this up. Chris Cuomo lectures Kentucky about breaking stay-at-home rules. Ha! Ah! Yeah. Who does Chris Cuomo and CNN think they're fooling with this basement emergence video? I'm just saying. Chris Cuomo emerging from his basement is yet another completely embarrassing example of elitist disconnect. Oh, the dramatics. Also, his complete healthy lung X-ray. Yeah, remember when? Oh, you made. That's all, folks. No, it's not. You may have seen when he was talking to Sanjay Gupta and they brought out his lung X-rays, and Sanjay Gupta's looking at it, going like, "Well, yeah, those look pretty good." Also, Chris Cuomo never had a shortness of breath. And the symptoms of this are shortness of breath, nagging cough, fever, difficult to breathe. And none of those things showed up. Anti-hero Kate says, Chris Cuomo, okay, that's it. Oh, especially considering he had a meltdown when a neighbor called him out for being in the Hamptons when, now wait a minute. No, anti-hero Kate, he didn't have a break. He didn't have a meltdown when a neighbor called him out for being in the Hamptons. It was the neighbor in his future house because he was across town at the wrong house, motherfucker. Oh, there's not a lot of people buying this shit. Oh, but then Chris Cuomo says, give this out. Okay, what is Chris Cuomo saying here? They're replying, oh yeah, please think about others, he says. Kentucky sees highest spike in coronavirus cases after protests against lockdown. Now, I gotta get to this bullshit headline. Okay? He had the nerve to bring up this headline. And we're gonna get to that in a second. And so he has the balls to say, please think about others. When you were outside of your house with, in theory, you had diagnosed COVID-19 out at some house on the other side of the Hamptons with your wife, 3 kids in tow, and some woman who's not related to you, who you're probably giving it to. You're out and about, and you have the balls to say, please think about others. Holy fuck. And then this guy says, oh, give this out, this COVID-19 lockdown protester thing. Let's get it. I want to show you this stupid article, though, because Kentucky sees highest spike in coronavirus cases after protest against lockdown. Talk about a BS headline. Let's take a look at that. Hello, Lennon McCartney. What's up? By the way, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you. You're the sponsors, so do the share thing and hit the like button if you haven't done so yet, if you like what we're doing. And Streamlabs is in the chat right there where you can do super chats and donations and shit like that. Thank you so much for those who can. If you can't, I'm cool with that too. I just like being here and I'm glad you're here too. So here's this bullshit article in The Hill. Kentucky sees highest spike in coronavirus cases after protest against the lockdown. Now, you hear a lot of people complaining and bitching and moaning about the people protesting. And I don't know if it's smart to protest, but you know what? Welcome to America. You can protest if you want. But, it's one of those things you got to go, if you're going to do that, be careful, whatever. But I get it. I understand why people don't want to be in places where this is not prevalent. I can see why people would be protesting. Like, let's put it this way. Someone made a great point this morning on Twitter. If all those cases in New York City, let's say that whole cases in New York City, let's say those were all in Montana, right? All of them were in Montana. And there were 200 cases in New York City. Do you think for 1 minute that New York City would shut down if all those cases were on Montana? Hell no. So I get it. In places where it's not prevalent, places where they may have been over the hump, I can see why people are protesting, especially some of the stupid shit that some of these governors are doing, particularly Michigan. I just don't understand it. Where you can't buy seeds for your garden. You can't travel from your home to your home up north. Now, how you gonna not maintain social distancing inside your car, going from one home to another? Isn't that kind of aren't you staying enclosed? You're not endangering anybody inside your car. Oh, you might touch a gas pump nozzle, right? Is that what it is? Well, whatever. They wipe that shit down. The gas station I go to up here, they got a attendant out there wiping these things down all the time. But so they get this headline because all the people who are now, first of all, there's not that many protesters out there. They try to make it look like huge crowds, and they do that close-in photo. Or even when they took the pictures of the beach in Jacksonville, the CNN took a picture from the eye level, so when you're looking through it, it looks like there's tons of people. But then there's this aerial shot, and these people are all like 20, 30 feet away from each other. So that was bullshit. So they put this headline out because this is one of those things. See, I told you these protests are going to cause spikes in corona cases. Everyone's going to get sick, and when you can't protest when you're dead. That's what you're all this bullshit. So let's go through this article. This is hilarious. And then this protest, this comes after a Louisville church filed a lawsuit against the state's stay-at-home orders, right? There's this weird dichotomy that you have to, you have to think one way or another about this shit, but you don't. You can, whatever. A Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, announced in a press conference Sunday that 273 new cases of COVID-19 had emerged. The highest Beshear has announced so far. This brings the current state case count to 2,960 per the Kentucky Department of Health, and 148 fatalities have been reported. So they have a total of 2,960 cases in the entire state of Kentucky, and 148 people have died. It's very sad for the people and their families of the people who died. In response to this figure, Beshear determined that the state will not reopen economic sectors or relax restrictions. Now, I'm sorry, let me back up. 2,960 cases, 148 fatalities. How many are critical or severe? You're gonna shut down this now. Okay, so and now. Granted, I think when we get these antibody tests, we figure out that 80% of the population's already had this and never had symptoms. That's going to be an eye-opener. He will not reopen economic sectors or relax restrictions until there's a downward trajectory of reported cases for 14 days in accordance with White House guidelines. That's fine, whatever. We're still in the midst of the fights. Now, let's talk about the protest, okay? This comes after protests surged in Frankfurt last week against Beshear's restrictions, disrupting an evening news conference. The Lexington Herald leader noted that about 100 Kentuckians joined the protest, arguing that businesses need to reopen after more than 500,000 Kentuckians filed for unemployment in March. So the big headline: Kentucky sees highest spike in coronavirus cases after protests against lockdowns. What does that headline make it sound like to you? Is it just me? Or does this headline make it sound like the spike in coronavirus cases were a result of the protests? Doesn't it make it sound like that? Now, granted, they got 274 cases. Now let's take a look at the world. Let's go look at the Worldometer for a second. Worldometer coronavirus. Let's go full screen so you can see the whole. Oh no, you don't need a full screen for this. Let's take a look at. Okay, so we're still here. We got. We got over 4 million tests compared to the next closest is 7. We're gonna fight. The more tests you can do, the more cases you're gonna find. But let's look at the United States of America, and we're gonna check out the state of Kentucky as far as their testing goes. Let's see. Kentucky is okay. Look at this. So New York's way up here. Let's go. Kentucky is way down here in the number of cases. Now, granted, this is not per capita. So let's go at. Let's see. Cases per 1 million population. Where does Kentucky fit in? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 12th as far as number of cases per capita. And it's up. This has not been updated here. Oh, wait, no. Active cases. Yeah, this is updated. They had a total of 33,050 cases. 687 cases per capita, 35 cases per 1 million population. Where is that on the list? 35. That still puts them way down here as far as deaths per capita. And they've done 32,820 tests, 7,300 per million population. So, look, here's my point on looking at that. So, they've got their highest number of new cases has emerged this last week. Now, and the protests have nothing to do with it, even though they combine that in the headline up here. That has nothing to do with it. Let me, I'm just curious, okay? Because I'm going to assume that testing, there's been more testing as the weeks have gone on, as we've been able to increase the capacity of our testing ability. So would you think perhaps, because this isn't death, this is just cases. This is going to be, these cases could include 17, or let's see, how many new cases? Let's say 273 new cases in the entire state of Kentucky, new cases. How many of those cases are similar to, let's say, Chris Cuomo? Where, yeah, somebody's sick, but they're not going to die. Is it in a nursing home? Is it somebody young? Who are the cases? This tells you nothing. Other than it could have been because they've had more testing. If you do more testing, you'll find more cases. But this was such a bullshit headline. Anyway, so Chris Cuomo decided that was important to put out. What else we got here? Okay, I think, have we talked enough about Chris Cuomo? I'm done. But here's the thing. The reason I titled this stream "The Heroes of the Coronapocalypse," right now, there are a lot of journalists out there who think that they are the heroes of the Coronapocalypse. Now, what I want you to keep in mind, as we've spent most of the day talking about Chris Cuomo, I want you to pay attention to the treatment of Chris Cuomo, okay, Allison Camerata, who now also apparently has COVID-19, but in particular, Chris Cuomo, because I have a prediction. Somehow, Chris Cuomo is going to win an award related to his ongoing bout with COVID-19 and his broadcasting from his basement. I just have a feeling. I've got a feeling. That Chris Cuomo is going to get an award for that. I think he's shooting for a Pulitzer or something, an Emmy, a Pulitzer, a Slammy. No, that's wrestling. Never mind. Anyway, all right, let's move on. We're going to do a quick round through the Twitter trends, and then we got to get out of here. Thank you, Len Insidious. I'm not sure who that is. If you're in the chat, say hi. And Truck and Bear for retweeting the show out this morning. Also, Cindy Rochelle, Andrea. Andrea needs to know. Jay Wolf, Maddie already said hi. Thank you, and Chi-Town Jay. All of you guys who retweet the show, that is great. Oh, and I do have a few. Let's get into some of my Twitter stuff, because I like to do a lot of stuff on Twitter and trends and things like that. But here, thank you, Jay Wolf, for this story, because I found this fascinating. So remember, they've been talking about they've had some of these rallies, and someone says, "Oh, someone's carrying around Nazi flags and blah blah blah." No. And here's the picture of the one in particular that they keep talking about. Someone's in Michigan. The Michigan governor said something about them carrying a Nazi flag at one of the protest rallies. And here's a picture of that Nazi flag right here, this Trump-Pence swastika. Yeah. First of all, who actually ever thought that this was something that some Trump supporter brought out? Okay? This guy's a left-wing activist. I guarantee it. okay? Because no one supports Trump and Pence would carry a Nazi flag. That's just fucking stupid. Well, here's the story on this one. Let me fit this onto the screen. Nazi flag supposedly at Michigan protest was actually from a Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho. Oh no. It's another hoax pushed by the fake news media. Conservative investigative reporter Andy No. I'm not a big fan of Andy, although I don't hate him like some of the lefties hate him, but I'm just not a fan. Dug around and uncovered yet another hoax. After the recent Operation Gridlock in Michigan, a photo surfaced of a man holding a Trump Nazi sign. And of course, the fake news media ran with it, saying that it was from Michigan. MSNBC even had on a Michigan congresswoman to discuss it. The media claimed the photo was taken on April 15th near Lansing, Michigan. Fake news! The Nazi swastika flag, I almost said flag, supposedly at a Michigan protest, was actually from a Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho. Apparently there's an article on it. So anyway, that was from February 29th, so the story is a hoax. More bullshit, you know how it works. Anyway, let's get into Twitter trends today. Let's go into the Explore tab, see what's at the header, which I'm sure it is going to be. Yes, it is coronavirus. Mexico enters most serious phase 3 of pandemic. Oh my goodness, that's awful. I don't want people getting sick from this. The total number of global cases has surpassed 2.5 million, including more than 170,000 fatalities. More than 650,000 patients are reported to have recovered. German states require masks on public transportation. Trump says he will temporarily suspend immigration, which, people are howling about that. Australia already reached a turning point on outbreak. India reports highest single-day recovery. Running of the bulls in Oktoberfest have been called off. I think it's a little premature to call off Oktoberfest, personally, but, German Chancellor Angela Merkel never lets an opportunity go by to be more... I better not go there. That would not be cool. I was watching Hard Bastard stream last night. It got yeeted in the middle of the stream. They pulled it off, and they had to finish it up on D Live. I don't know who said what, if they made too many references to the guy with the funny mustache or what, because it was the guy with the funny mustache's birthday yesterday, and I said it a couple times, but, anyway. So they're canceling the Running the Bulls and Oktoberfest. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Italy can start reopening next month, the Prime Minister says. And let's see. Here's a stat worth sharing. Global coronavirus total recoveries have passed 650,000. That's nearly 4 times the number of deaths. There have been 50,000 plus recorded recoveries in the last 36 hours. That's interesting. That's a good stat. That's a good thing. Percentage of deaths above normal. I don't care what above normal. That doesn't mean. Here's how COVID-19 has impacted local death tolls. Percentage above normal. Okay, first of all, we don't know what the normal is. Hi, Jen T. And I didn't see you there, and I'm saying hi. I'm saying hi now. Above normal. What does that even mean? Is this based on per capita? Percentage of deaths above normal. New York City, 298%. Normal for what? Spain, 266%. Netherlands, 33%. Look, that means nothing. Let's go back to the worldometer here. Okay, the worldometer. Oops, one too many clicks. If you look at the worldometer, all right, let's take the United States, or let's go, here we go. USA has the most cases and has the most deaths. But if you, again, put Spain, Italy, France, Germany, Belgium, and put all these countries together in the same about geographical area and population. Okay, we're fortunate. I don't want to say we've done great. Because I don't want to think like we've done this wonderful job. That's one problem that Trump has in these stupid press conferences. Not stupid; they're very informative, actually. But he because he has a tendency to talk in glowing terms, he kind of he has this tendency to say some glowing terms when there's still a lot of death, even though it's relative, okay? It's relative to the rest of the world. It's not like this is the only place happening, whatnot. But anyway, as we look at this worldometer and you sort them by deaths per million population, Belgium, Spain, Italy, France, UK, Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, Ireland are all more per capita, per million of population. In fact, outside of New York City, we would be way farther down. New York City has the problem. It's the worst in New York City as far as our places in the United States. Almost, full half of our cases and deaths are in New York City, period. All right? And it doesn't matter if it's, test. Iceland does the most tests. The only country in this most tests per capita, even close, with a higher count of deaths is, Germany. But Germany actually has done pretty well. But a lot of these same countries are up here. Switzerland's up here, Norway, and still have, per capita deaths are still pretty high compared to other places. But again, we talked about the other day, it's that zone, that weather pattern zone where all these highest case places are. Something about a spike in cases is expected in Mexico. I wish someone, here we go. Okay, here's the article from Reuters. So now it says that Mexico enters most serious phase 3 spread. Well, let's look at Mexico. Let's find Mexico here. I'll do these in alphabetical order so I can find Mexico easily. Mexico. Total cases, 8,772. 712 deaths. 2,600 something recovered. And they're in their most serious phase. And so we have a big thing about Mexico has entered its most serious phase 3. But per capita, Mexico, deaths per million, 6. Cases per million, 68. And they're in their most serious phase. Again, I think it has a lot to do with climate. A lot more to do with climate. So anyway. But you know what? It sounds really scary, doesn't it? Now, let's get into the actual trends today. We've got to get through this kind of quickly because I'm running out of time here. Topping the trends today, the Chargers. The Chargers are trending on number 1 right now. Apparently, they're getting some new uniforms. The Los Angeles Chargers. It's really hard for me to say Los Angeles Chargers. I'm used to San Diego Chargers, but they unveiled new uniforms. Okay, and they're trending number 1 for that. Okay, don't care. Tuesday Thoughts, as opposed to Tuesday Thoughts, is trending number 2. Oh, Ms. Krasenstein. It's Brian Krasenstein and his uglier twin brother who tweet under the names of one of their wives. Says 4 American deaths in Benghazi resulted in Hillary Clinton being forced to testify for 11 hours. Simple math tells you that 42,518 American deaths from COVID-19 means that Trump should be forced to testify for 116,924 and a half hours. Who's with me? Brian, or your uglier twin brother, whichever one of you is tweeting this, I got a nice hot cup of shut the fuck up for you. Moving on, Grant Stern, Republican death panels are asking Americans to die for the economy again. Oh, great. This is, you know what, I can't even read Newsweek anymore. I'll bring it up tomorrow. There's a story in Newsweek that I gotta show you tomorrow that really pissed me off. Oh, the Krasenstein again. Brian Krasenstein and his uglier twin brother, tweeting under the name of one of their wives, says another one up here. Breaking. Wisconsin is now linking at least 7 COVID-19 cases to in-person voting. This is exactly why every state in America needs to implement mail-in voting as an easy option. Every American should be able to vote without risking their lives. Who agrees? I don't know. If you're willing to risk the kind of fraud that kind of comes along with mail-in voting, and it has well, whatever. It's been around for a long time as far as absentee voting. So I don't know. I'm they again. He's all over this Tuesday Thoughts. The federal government has done such a lousy job of preparing for COVID-19 that the Republican governor of Maryland literally had to turn to South Korea for help. Think about that for just a second. Well, fucking A. Hello, because it's hard to get shit. That most of the shit was coming from China, and China stopped delivering it. China decided that they're not selling their shit anymore. So yeah, you've had to go to a lot of places. Yeah, I'll think about that. Let's bring all medical manufacturing back home. Or at least to places where we don't have to fight to get it. There's a Tuesday thought for you, Miss Krasenstein. Tuesday. Oh, here's a Tuesday. Now see, some people got flowers and shit going. Oh, by the way, I got to fix my outro. I have to update my outro. Well, you'll see tomorrow. I'll explain it tomorrow. All right. Any real Tuesday thoughts, or even Tuesday thoughts at this point? Oh, metamorphosis is not reinvention. It's the realization that you always had what it took. That is some motivation and a Tuesday thought. We'll finish with that one for Tuesday thoughts. Trading number 3, rest in peace, Prince. I did one of these this morning. Being from Minnesota, I would absolutely be remiss if I did not recognize it's the 4th anniversary of when Prince died. And 12 miles that way is where Prince lives. I live in not too far proximity of Paisley Park. In fact, the school that I do most of my basketball training and practices in the summer are about 6 blocks from Paisley Park. And Prince, I don't care who you are, Prince might be the greatest musician of the last 20 or last 100 years, and perhaps close to the top 5 all time, if you ask me. I put him on par with Beethoven. I put him on par with a lot of different things, even though, now, you may or may not like his music, and I'm not saying he wrote the best songs. I'm not saying he, should be everyone's favorite style. I'm saying he is the best musician, perhaps, of all time. He was a master of more than 27 instruments. Most of his albums, he did all the instrumentation and production himself, and then hired bands to come out and play with him. As far as his prolific writing, there's still enough material at Paisley Park for about 50 long form albums that they just never released. He was a prolific writer, and as far as being a virtuoso on many of the instruments he played, he may also be one of the top 5 guitar players. And you may not, if you don't believe me, just go on YouTube and look up Prince guitar solos and just listen to the many different styles. So there you go. I see you, Mike, John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix. Not even close. Remember, Prince was a virtuoso on about 27 different instruments. And you go look through his albums and see his ability to play multiple instruments. You'd be shocked. So anyway, that Friday girl was the greatest musician in history. Okay, well that's my personal. Okay, all right. So anyway. I've saw him 4 times live in my lifetime. Amazing concerts. And I wasn't even a huge fan the first couple times, but after a couple live concerts with him, when he'd run around and play a bunch of he'd take over from some of his musician mates, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize how talented this guy is. I'm not saying the greatest. He didn't write the greatest song. He wrote great songs, but he was not necessarily the greatest songwriter. But as far as just a pure musician, nobody could touch him. Nobody. Anyway, all right, let's move on. I'm not even going to click that one. There's a lot of people who like Prince. Stanley Tucci is trending. Now, I thought, okay, is this one of those, I'm not unamused. I'm all good. Y'all can have your opinions. Those are my opinions, okay? By the way, Mike, I respect your opinions too. Lennon was probably one of the greatest songwriters. Jimi Hendrix, prolific guitar player, and but Jimi Hendrix was a groundbreaker. As far as being even one of the greatest musicians, I'm not going to go there. I don't think so. There are plenty of rival guitar players, from different styles. I think, you know what? You know who one of the greatest guitar players is that I really hadn't even thought of until I started going back and listening to watching some old video of him? Roy Clark, the country musician. You talk about a guy who can do so many different styles on a guitar and is just a complete and utter virtuoso. Look up some Roy Clark videos. I was never a fan of Roy Clark until someone said, hey, he was just a prolific guitarist, right? Had no idea. He did a scene on what's the show? The Odd Couple. Look up Roy Clark Odd Couple appearance or Roy Clark Odd Couple and watch that dude play guitar. I was like blown away because I didn't remember ever seeing that before. And so then I looked up a few other things. Anyway, let's talk about Stanley Tucci, the actor. I'm like, oh God, did Stanley Tucci die? Now he's one of these character actors that you have to think about. And then as soon as you see his face, you're like, oh yeah, I know who that is. So he's trending on Twitter and I'm like, oh God, did he die? Did he do something stupid? No, he's trending on Twitter just because he was making some cocktails and put it on the internet, and he's doing a masterclass. Now, me being a former bartender, I thought, okay, this is interesting. Now, because people are like, may this video of Stanley Tucci doing cocktail masterclass be a blessing upon your Twitter feed. And apparently everyone's like, oh, okay, Stanley Tucci making drinks. Okay, I'm not even going to finish this. Anyway, that's why he's trending. I'm a former TGI Fridays bartender, and I made it to the regional World Bartender Championships one time. But so I know I might go look at that. Tuesday Vibes is trending 5. Tuesday Motivation 6. I'll skip. Farrah is trending. Happy birthday, Farrah. Farrah who? There's only one Farrah in my book. Oh, here we go. Hello, beautiful people. This is my youngest daughter, Farrah, and today is my baby girl's 8th birthday. Would you be kind enough to wish her, on her special day, quarantine birthday? So people are saying happy birthday to Farrah. You know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, all these people are obliging. There's the only Farrah that you need to know. There's only one, Farrah Fawcett. Okay, every kid's dream every 15, 14-year-old boy's dream in the 70s. And that's the only Farrah there is. Sorry, Farrah, whoever. Happy birthday, Farrah, you little kid. But Teen Mom star Farrah Abraham has been naked a lot. What? I don't need to show that. Anyway, but there is our Tuesday thought. Okay, moving on. A tiny Selka day. That has to do with K-pop, and I'm not clicking it because Patrice, my local K-pop aficionado, is not in the chat as far as I know. Now, if she does make herself known, I may go back and click that, but not now. Bill Mitchell's trending. I think he's a talk show host. No one understands math like Bill Mitchell. Okay, let's see what this says. Okay, here's interesting that Act Blue raised an average donation of $30.38. This would imply people are donating in uneven numbers, including pennies, which would be odd. Or it would indicate untraceable foreign donations at an exchange rate translation, which would be illegal. Bill, I don't know what you're saying here. Statistically speaking, it makes sense to always back Trump. Sorry, haters, just do math. God favors America, Trump favors America. God favors Trump. It's just math. Okay, that's Bill Mitchell's opinion. I'm whatever. But I don't think his math is working there. You can have your total dollar amount divided. Well, I don't know how. That's weird. How an average donation? Okay, you just take the donations divided by the number of donations. Okay, Bill, you kind of messed up there. What else? Excuse me. Allergy season. Bill Mitchell's so unselfish with his brain power that he lets us all have it. Yeah. Okay, Bill, you don't do math. Okay, we got it. That's why he's trending. Moving on, Cyrus is trending. That has to do with video games. Reese and Cyrus, I think. Animal Crossing. Reese and Cyrus are making their return to Animal Crossing. I don't play Animal Crossing because I don't have any Nintendo products, so never mind. Leaf is trending also. Another Animal Crossing thing. HBO Max is trending. I don't care. Robert Smith from The Cure. It's his 61st birthday. Oh my gosh. Robert Smith from The Cure. Happy 61st birthday. As it's the birthday of Robert Smith on The Cure's today, here I updated version 1 of his greatest hits that I made. I don't know what that means. But anyway, Robert Smith is 61. Wow. I didn't know he was that much older than me. Love Song. That was one of their big hits that one of my friends, that was he and his ex-wife's song. And okay, so The Cure, Robert Smith, happy birthday. San Jacinto, California is trending because 184 years ago. Oh no, not California, Texas. 184 years ago, Texas won its independence at the Battle of San Jacinto. I can't say that. Anyway, may we always remember the sacrifice of those who fought to change the course of history. God bless Texas! Okay, so people are talking about that today. Probably a lot of Texans talking about that today. Oktoberfest. We already said that. It's been Germany's Oktoberfest has been called off due to coronavirus concerns. I guarantee you, Wisconsin's Oktoberfest isn't going to be called off, though, because they're from Wisconsin, and that's how they are. Rover's trending. That has something to do with games, probably Animal Crossing. Yep, it does. I don't need to care. Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker is available. Say less. Let's see. Oh, okay. 2015 Ohio State roster was crazy. Malik Hooker was on it. Malik Hooker is available for trade. I really hope not. Dude has so much potential that is still yet to be unlocked. Just really hoping not. Okay, from the Colts. So they're letting him go. And finally, Perfect Movies and When Doves Cry. Perfect Movies. Let's start with that one. We've got, let's see, take 5 perfect movies. This side says Parasite, Taxi Driver, Whiplash, The Shawshank Redemption, and There Will Be Blood. You know, There Will Be Blood. Let's talk about that just real quick. That movie was interesting, and it was kind of visually cool, but that was the slowest damn movie I have ever seen. It felt like it was 5 hours long, and it may well have been for all I know. It just would. I mean, it was. I don't know why people like that movie. I never got it. It was a decent movie, but it just seemed like it took forever. Jake Tapper says Chinatown, Little Women, Moonlight, Rear Window, Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is one of those movies that the first time you see it, you go, okay, what's this going to be about? And it was just brilliant. I thought Groundhog Day definitely. Okay, put your favorite, your perfect movie in the chat. I'm going to say Disney's version of Hercules. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. The animated version of Disney's Hercules. I thought that was a great movie. And I don't know why. Maybe because I knew a little bit about Greek mythology. And I just thought it was fantastic. Casablanca. I've never seen Casablanca. I need to go. I should watch that. I thought Shawshank Redemption was really good too. SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Okay, there's one I would never thought of. Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. Cat in the Hat. The Godfather Part 2. I've never seen any of the Godfather films either. I've seen parts of them. Those are, because they're the movies that, they've been on TV here and there, and they put them on TV, and you watch some of it, but you never get through the whole movie. And so, and I never saw it when I was younger, which I probably should have. Saving Private Ryan, that's a good movie. I thought Forrest Gump was a great movie too, but and then, of course, Animal House. Just kidding. All right, let's move on. And finally, it was trending number 20 when I first kicked this on, but they kicked it off, and it was When Doves Cry, and that's in honor of Prince. So I'm not going to go look and see what else is up there. If you want to find out what's happening in the world, sometimes you just got to look at Twitter trends, and that's why we do it every day, because you'll know what people are talking about now and what people are going to be talking about in a few minutes. By the way, also, I'm going to hit the hashtag today, at PDK News. Now, by the way, it's interesting. You notice, does anyone notice something that was missing from Twitter trends that probably should be there, and I can't figure out why? What's probably the biggest news besides coronavirus in the world right now? Somebody had surgery or sick or something, kind of missing in action. Anybody? Kim Jong-un is either dead or near dead, had surgery, a heart surgery, at least that's what they're saying, and not even in Twitter trends today. Go figure. Go figure. Wow. Not a peep about Kim Jong-un. I wonder who wrote the book of love. Okay, sorry, that I forgot the who. Anyway, okay, let's go to PDK News. Let's check out the hashtag real quick. Now, I'm gonna do this top one here on let's see, let's find this. Thank you, Tyler F. Apparently, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, quote, in World War II, there weren't people lining up at the Capitol to protest the fact that they had to drop everything they were doing and build planes or tanks or to ration food.
President Trump called this a war, and it is exactly
that.
Oh
my God.
So let's act like it. In World War II, there weren't people lining up at the Capitol to protest the fact that they had to drop everything they were doing and build planes or tanks or to ration food. They rolled up their sleeves and they got to work. We were all in this together, and it wasn't indefinite. It was until we'd beaten the enemy. No state shined more in those days than the state of Michigan.
Really?
We are called to act again. It is our time to shine, to put aside our
oh my God,
to come together and defeat our common enemy.
Yes, in World War II, there weren't people lining up the Capitol to protest. Really? Do you think there were no war protesters during World War II? None? I can't, maybe there were, maybe they weren't, I don't know. But also, people weren't lining up to sit on their ass either. And people are frustrated. And people are frustrated with some of the stupid things you put in place, Governor. And it's not everything you put in place. People understand that we need to be healthy people. But there also is a limit to... There's a limit to what power you have to restrict the things that we do. And you need to understand that. And that's fine, you know? Because if I want to plant my garden of beans, I should be able to do that as long as I'm practicing social distancing guidelines from the federal government. If I want to go and get away from the city and go to a second home that I have the privilege to have, I should be able to get in my car and drive there and then go into my other home and not have much contact with people. There's no social distancing guidelines that don't mean you can't drive in your car. So I get why people might be protesting. You might, you can buy this, but you can't buy that. Well, fuck you. I want to buy what I can buy when I have the time to do it. So maybe, just maybe, that's what they're protesting too. Okay? Yes, we absolutely want to make sure that we don't have more people die than necessary. But you also can't escape a virus. You can't escape it. It's look at the rest of the world. Okay? We're all in the same boat, but you're not helping. All right, let's check what else is on the latest end of this. That's the same one. Thank you, Jay Wolf. We already did that story about the Nazi protest flag. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stepped in it, deleting a tweet calling for a communist revolution. Oh my God. Now this is Gateway Pundit. So Gateway Pundit is, Jim is, his publication is a little bit hyperbolic sometimes, and that's why I kind of shy away from it. But Communist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Monday in a tweet celebrated the oil crash, which can lead to a massive loss of jobs. Futures contract for U.S. crude dropped over 100% on Monday as a demand for oil dropped amid the coronavirus pandemic. The Democratic media complex is using coronavirus as a vehicle to usher in socialist policy. AOC celebrated American workers losing their job and said, "You absolutely love to see it. This, along with record low interest rates, means it's the right time for worker-led mass investment in green infrastructure to save our planet." Cough. She deleted the post quite quickly after getting called out for celebrating the loss of jobs while calling for a communist revolution. Jewish Deplorable said, AOC celebrated today's oil crash, which will lead to hundreds of thousands of lost jobs. AOC doesn't care about workers. She never did. All she cares about is herself and her pathetic Green New Deal. She deleted it, but the internet is forever. Yeah, so she kind of got dragged around a little bit for that. Let's see, more on Michigan governor. Yeah, we talked about, Michigan Governor Whitmer sets up coronavirus racial disparity task force. Good God. Holy shit, what is that? How big of a scene do they need here? Okay, I'll just go down here. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer ordered on Monday the creation of a task force to investigate why the novel coronavirus has disproportionately affected the state's African-American community. The COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately impacted communities of color throughout our state, Whitmer, a Democrat, said in her executive order. For example, while African Americans represent 13% of our state's population, they represent a staggering 40% of the deaths from COVID-19. Whitmer's task force will investigate and study strategies to address the disparity, as well as historical and systemic inequalities pertaining to race that have amplified the death rate in the state's black community. Well, I'm going to tell you that most people of color live in urban areas, at least generally. And so the likelihood of that spreading in an urban area is far greater than it's spreading in more sparsely populated outstage areas. So if it has a disproportionate effect, it's because more black people live in urban areas where you have a higher chance of getting it. It doesn't take a jet propulsion engineer to understand that. Just God. Let's see. Truck and Bear gave me Florida woman tired of living in Trump country stabs herself multiple times. Oh my God. Here's our Florida woman story, our Florida man story of the day from Newsweek. Florida woman tired of living in Trump's country stabs herself multiple times, according to police. She was taken to a local hospital on Sunday after she allegedly stabbed herself 3 times. Oh, multiple times. Okay, this is Newsweek looking for a sensational headline. When I hear multiple times, do you think 3 or do you think 30? But anyway, even stabbing herself 3 times tells me she's a fucking bonehead. According to a police report obtained by the Smoking Gun, officers with the Palmetto Police Department responded to a call about the woman, though it was unclear if she or someone else had contacted the police. At the time, the police officers found the woman outside her home with her face, head, and legs with blood on them. When an officer asked the woman what happened, she lifted up her shirt to reveal 3 stab wounds on her abdomen that were still bleeding. The woman, who had not been named, admitted to the officers that she stabbed herself because she was tired of living in Trump country. You know, you could just move to Jamaica or something, woman. God damn. And was tired of President Donald Trump being in office. Well, welcome to the Darwin Awards. According to the police report, officers contacted paramedics who transported the woman to a local hospital under a trauma alert. Okay, she admitted, blah, blah, blah. She's, let's see, is she okay? Speaking to a woman at the hospital, she informed the officer that she had previously been admitted under the Baker Act and tried to hurt herself before. So she's, she just needs a little bit of tender loving mental care and whatnot. Let's see. Let me do a couple more, then let's get out of here. Newly classified evidence cast doubt on Obama's intel assessment. about the Trump, I'm going to say the Trump-Russia thing. We're going to talk about that one tomorrow, so I'm going to save that one for later, Jay Wolf. Skook, a woman gives birth during a car crash, couldn't find the baby. We did that yesterday. Okay, that's it for today. Hey, we've got 45 people still here today and 31 likes, so if you make sure to, on the way out the door, hit that like button. Thank you for joining us today on the Morning Night Live. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT for people who live in other parts of the world, like my friend Richo from Down Under. And if you'd be so kind, like I said, on the way out, hit the like button. Share the video out, even if it's after the fact. Share the video. Share it, tweet it, Facebook, Tumblr, whatever. That little arrow will take you to one you want to use. And if you want to help the station grow and improve our production value, aka my production value, I'm looking to buy a soundboard. So that's why I have up there it says something. The goal for the month is $420 because I'm going to buy a new mixing board and microphone setup. So that's where your money goes when you donate to the Morning Night Live. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm ecstatic that you all decided to join me again today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Well, I can. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for coming by. My name is PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.